Ever wondered how a simple apple falling from a tree could inspire one of history's greatest minds? Red apple, that's the kind of curiosity that drove Sir Isaac Newton, and today, we're applying that same spirit to break down his incredible performance on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Let's dive into the daily grind. On any given day, Newton was an absolute powerhouse of thought. He'd wake up early, often before dawn, and immediately get to work. His mornings were for intense focus, tackling complex problems in optics, calculus, or gravity. This wasn't just idle contemplation, it was rigorous, methodical work. He meticulously recorded his observations and calculations in notebooks, filling page after page with what would become groundbreaking theories. His afternoons were often dedicated to experimental work. Imagine him in his lab, using prisms to split light into a rainbow of colors, or carefully observing the pendulum swing. His evenings, while sometimes social, were often spent in quiet reflection, synthesizing the day's findings. A typical day for Newton wasn't just a 9 to 5, it was a continuous loop of inquiry, experimentation, and analysis. Now, let's zoom out to the weekly workflow. Looking at a full week, Newton's performance was defined by a rhythm of deep work and intellectual exploration. Monday through Friday were his core working days, each building on the last. He'd often dedicate an entire week to a single, monumental problem. For example, he might spend a full 5 days tirelessly working on the inverse square law of universal gravitation, a concept that would forever change our understanding of the cosmos. His weekends weren't for rest in the modern sense, they were for broader reading, correspondence with fellow scientists like Robert Hooke, and preparing for his next big project. This weekly cadence of focused work and intellectual refreshment allowed him to make sustained progress on multiple fronts simultaneously. It's a great lesson in how consistency and dedicated time can lead to massive breakthroughs. Finally, let's look at his monthly masterpiece. Over the course of a month, Newton's work wasn't just a collection of daily tasks, it was a progression toward a complete work. He'd start the month with a goal, whether it was drafting a new chapter for his Principia Mathematica or refining his telescope design. By the end of the month, you'd see a significant, tangible outcome. Think of it like a long-form project. The daily efforts were the building blocks, the weekly routines were the construction phases, and the monthly output was the finished product. This long-term view is what enabled him to produce such monumental works over his lifetime. It's the difference between doing a few equations and writing an entire theory that defines a field. Newton's long-term consistency is arguably his greatest strength, allowing him to build a legacy that continues to influence us today. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.